ladies. One more, please. Word by word translation. Na, not. Uchishta, after eating. Asprishta salila, without washing. Sandhyayam, in the evening. Mukta murdaja, with the hair loose. Anarchita, without ornaments. Asamyata vak, without being grave. Na, not. Asamvita, without being covered. Bahi, outside. Charit, should go. So, okay, this is Kasyapa Muni, who is continuing instructing his wife, Diti. Translation: after eating, you should not go out to the street without having washed your mouth, hands, and feet. You should not go out in the evening or with your hair loose, nor you should go out unless you are properly decorated with ornaments. You should not leave the house unless you are very grave and are sufficiently covered. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Kashyapa Muni advised his wife not to go out onto the street unless she was well decorated and well dressed. He did not encourage the mini skirts that have now become fashionable. In Oriental civilization, when a woman goes out onto the street, she must be fully covered so that no man will recognize who she is. All these methods are to be accepted for purification. If one takes to Krishna consciousness, one is fully purified. And thus, one remains always transcendental to the contamination of the material world. Namam Vishwapadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Translation again, if you like to repeat. After eating, you should not go out to the street without having washed your mouth, hands and feet. You should not go out in the evening or with your hair loose. Nor should you go out unless you're properly decorated with ornaments. You should not leave the house unless you are very grave and are sufficiently covered. So today we'll talk a little bit about women's clothing. And there's never a dull moment in this movement, you know. You get the verse, and this is the verse you get, and you get to talk about the subject. It's funny because my father had a PhD in political science, but somehow he ended up as a business. He was dealing with women clothing, like a high standard women clothing. So my house, I grew up in a house where we were flooded with women clothing. Plus there was my mother and two sisters. So I remember one day I happened to be in front of the Almirah of my sister, and Almirah was overflowing with clothes, and but she was very upset and she was screaming, "I have nothing to wear!" So at that time I was very innocent, so I couldn't really relate, because I was looking at Almirah. Almirah was packed with clothes, and here you got this young lady saying, "I have nothing to wear." So it didn't make any sense. There's no connection between the reality and the perception of the reality. At the same time, she was feeling that frustration. She was feeling that angst, that agony. And so this brings us that there are different nature. Okay, there's a different nature. Not only in anatomy, not only in physiology, but also in psychology. Srila Prabhupada brings up this point, and he explains at least some part of this reason why ladies tend to dress nicely, and they really wish to dress nicely. This is a room conversation in Vrindavan. But the woman is naturally, her psychology is dress very nicely so that men may be attracted, because they want shelter. Of course, they want to dress nicely also when they also already have a shelter. So that's not the old story. So this is psychology. Otherwise, why the women are naturally inclined to dress herself nice? Man does not. That is the psychology. A boy, 16-year-old boy, he does not. He's roughly dressed. He does not care. But a 16-year-old girl will never remain roughly. She'll always try to decorate herself very nicely and utilize her youthful beauty for attracting. The quote goes on. So there is this tendency. Sometimes we hear from authorized sources, I don't know anything, but I heard from authorized sources like women have 9 times the lust of men. But that's not sexual lust. That's like a diffused lust that goes to the desire for novelty, for variety. It goes into the clothes. It goes into the ornaments. It goes into the hairdo. It goes into different aspects like that. And of course, to have a lot of clothes also costs a lot of money. So there is also an economical aspect, especially good clothes. I remember once I was doing book distribution in Italy, and I went to a cloth shop. So I presented the Bhagavad Gita, I did the mantra. And then one lady came in, and she was about 30 and not really good looking. She was smoking a cigar. Kind of strange. Not a cigarette, a cigar. No? So then, okay, what do you have? She was kind of friendly with the owner. Said, what do you have? What you got new? So then the owner pulled out a dress, very simple dress, very simple dress. Oh, short sleeves and very plain color, some grayish color. No ornamentation, no embroidery, nothing. And then she said, oh, very nice. How much is this? $400. And that was like more than 30 years ago. So that was like $1,000 of today, you know. And I was there, you know, waiting for the book, Bhagavad Gita there on the counter. I was looking in. And then she didn't flinch, she didn't bargain. She said, oh, very nice, I'll take it. So she paid $400. She got the dress, very simple dress, a dress that probably here in India now you buy for 300 rupees. So then at the end, the owner bought the Bhagavad Gita, gave me $20. Of course, I mean, she couldn't say, I don't have money after selling that dress. So that was good for me, for the mission. And so there is this tendency. And so the acharyas, the munis, do not try to curb this tendency. They try to purify. Okay, you want to dress nicely? Fine. There's a beautiful vignette of Srila Prabhupada coming back to U.S. first time. He was sick, you know, in 67, so he went back to India to recover. Then he came back. First time came back from India at the San Francisco airport. So they stopped him at the customs. They opened his briefcase, his suitcase. The devotees were there with the kirtan, looking. And then they opened the suitcase, and the suitcase was full of saris. Because Srila Prabhupada, you know, like a loving father, he actually thought of his daughters in the West, so he brought some nice saris. Yajnavalkya, I got a quote for you from the first canto. This is Srila Prabhupada speaking. First canto, 11th verse, 11th chapter, text 31. According to Yajnavalkya's religious instructions, so we're talking about religious instructions, a woman whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstance. That is the vow of the ladies whose husbands are away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that the wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress, and should always be present before the husband in a happy and joyous mood. So these are religious standards. This is dharma. And like Srila Prabhupada said in this purport, all these methods are too accepted for purification, because it is actually a tapasya for a lady. You know, she's at home, maybe she wants to relax. She also had a long day with the children, cooking, this, that, dealing with the maids, dealing with this and that. But when the husband comes back, according to Yajnavalkya, according to Srila Prabhupada, who obviously quotes Yajnavalkya because he agrees with him, the wife should be pleasant. So the husband comes home, she sees a very nicely decorated wife, happy, joyous mood. Welcome, Prabhu. Can I serve you some Ayurvedic tea? And this is an austerity, but it's a discipline. You know, every role has got this austerity. Wife role has got many austerities. Many austerities. First of all, to live with this man all the time. That's already an austerity in itself. But these are like... Otherwise, what happened? You know, the husband, in a traditional situation, the husband is always outside. He works outside. He faces a lot of problems, not deals with the material world. And then, so when he comes home, he should have this pleasant atmosphere, violins and this and that. Otherwise, imagine a Mayapur manager all day dealing with some problems with some issue and the economy and this and that. Then he goes back home. He sees the wife. She's dressed, she has this military camouflage plans. Then she has these T-shirts, I love New York. Then she has some cricket sweater. Then she has this hair pointing in 78 different directions. And then, on top of that, she has these creams on the face. Creams of mysterious origins. And even more mysterious functions. So the poor Mayapur manager goes back after all day. He sees the wife, and the wife started complaining about something. So the poor man feels like, better I go back to the office and relax. I read some reports of child abuse. It's more relaxing than looking at my wife. So this is the psychology. So everybody has a role. Everybody has got a discipline. Srila Prabhupada gave us this discipline. Disciple means discipline. And of course, being a disciple, one should be a disciple 24 hours a day. It's not just 4:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock, and then you become something else. The disciple means discipline. There are rules, there are regulations for our purification. It means tapasya. We accept things that we don't like to do. And we don't do things that in the normal circumstances we would do. And now, it's not a question, it's the motivation. Like here, Srila Prabhupada, actually, Kashyapa Muni says, you should not leave the house unless you are very grave and sufficiently covered. Now, sufficiently covered is open to interpretation. What is sufficient? Just enough not to be arrested for indecency? What sufficiently covered means? There are different standards, no? I mean, Srila Prabhupada goes so far in the purpose, say, in Oriental civilization, when a woman goes out into the street, she must be fully covered so that no man will recognize who she is. Like Muslim, yeah. Of course, other women will recognize her because they know each other's saris. You saw this. Many of you have seen this cartoon. There is one a Muslim lady completely dressed in a burqa, and then there is a Western lady. This is on the beach, and she's in a bikini, and she has this big sunglasses. No, so the cartoon she shows what they think. The lady in bikini thinks, look at this lady. She's completely covered and she has only the eyes visible. What the male-dominated culture. And the Muslim lady, she thinks, look at this lady. She's almost naked. So everything is visible, only her eyes are covered. what a male-dominated culture. So it's not just a question of what do you call a rule like sari. Sari is very nice. Saris can also be very revealing. Sometimes we see a lot. Sometimes we see, especially younger ladies in their youthful enthusiasm, they come, they wear sari, so it fits in the category of Hindu dress and so on. But they wear it in a different way. I mean, you have seen it, maybe not brahmachari, maybe not, but maybe by mistake. Sometimes it's unmistakable. They wear it. They wear it sometimes down, not down the hip, no, almost to the femur, no. You see this thing, and then they don't cover the back, and so you see this blouse. They have this kind of mini blouse that goes like this, and it's like the middle of the blouse is like a thread, basically. So there is almost half a square meter of skin visible. So you may say, no, but it's sari. No, but that's, and it's kind of sad. I mean, maybe they're young, they'll grow up. I'm not condemning anything on anybody, but it's sad if these ladies think that by that they will attract men. But they will attract men because you kind of look, you have to look. But if they think that they'll get a good husband by showing skin, that's a very sad thing. Because if the future husband is only attracted to skin, there's so much skin around. I mean, you don't have the only skin in the town. Yesterday I made a calculation. See, the human body has got an average of 1.5 to 2 square meter of skin. So there are about 3.5 billion women in the world. So that gives you at least 2 billion women in their childbearing years. So they're potentially attractive. So that gives you 3,000 square kilometers of skin. So if you're trying to keep your husband faithful just with your skin, that won't work. Because there's so much skin, 3,000 kilometers of skin. So it's sad if they think that that would be the way to get the husband. So the motivation is very important. Why we dress in a certain way. Srila Prabhupada sometimes authorized devotees, actually several times, authorized devotees to wear karmic clothes, civil clothes. But he used this sentence, like, dress like an up-to-date gentleman. That's like his expression, up-to-date gentleman. At the same time, he said, no, the sika should be there, the tilak should be there, the neck beads should be there. But don't look like a hippie. Huh? Don't look like a hippie. At one point, there was this Kirtananda Maharaj, now he's not anymore on the planet. He did a lot of service for Srila Prabhupada. It's nothing personal. But in 1967, very early, he was the first sannyasi. He was the only sannyasi in the movement. He took sannyasi in Vrindavan in Radhastram in 67. So then he had these ideas that we should not wear Vaishnava dresses. So there is a series of letters that Srila Prabhupada addresses this. He wrote Brahmananda regarding change of dress. Do not try to follow the unauthorized advice of Kirtanananda. Nobody cares for the dress. Every sane man follows the philosophy and practical talks. I mean, we could see, like, nowadays, Buddhism is very popular. But no, the Dalai Lama or the Buddhist monks, they don't change their dress. Everybody's comfortable. Buddhist monk, it's actually cool. It's actually cool to be a Buddhist. Not theologically, but socially. You're a Buddhist monk, it's cool. Then, let Kirtanananda, comes also the important part, let Kirtanananda Swami do something practically. Let him do whatever he likes, and let us see that thousands of Americans are following him. Unless he does so, do not accept his principle. Then another letter, this is just 3 days ago, this was 11 October 67. And then 3 days later, again on the same topic, same to Brahmananda, he said, Srila Prabhupada said, I have received a letter from Damodar. And he quotes the letter. Swami Kirtanananda has returned to the United States and is causing quite a stir among the devotees. Following his suggestions, we have stopped wearing robes and have cut off our flags. Flags means the Sikha. So they cut their Sikha, they started wearing those. He said these appurtenances are too strange looking to outsiders and only make it more difficult for them to consider chanting Hare Krishna. Swami Kirtanananda has said we must avoid appearing to be Orientalists if we are to have 108 centers in the US. End of quote. So Srila Prabhupada said, this is very disturbing to me and has caused me much pain. Please therefore stop Kirtanananda from making his mental concoctions. Now, again, in other circumstances, Srila Prabhupada did authorize wearing civil clothes, proper, nice dress. So it's not the civil clothes, it's a lot about the motivation. Here, Kirtanananda Swami developed the whole philosophy. We cannot preach, we cannot open 108 temples unless we wear civil clothes. Srila Prabhupada, it's like he throws the gauntlet. He say a challenge. Let me see, make thousands of devotees. Huh? In fact, he says something interesting. Now, let him show first that all that by seeing his newly grown beard, he has been successful to have many Americans following him. In other words, not that you grow a beard now, you become attractive. So there's so many beards around like that. But again, it's the motivation. There are devotees who, in a very pure motivation, they want to enter in a certain ambience, in a certain environment, and they don't wear dhotis. So that's fine. I mean, I know, I give one example. There is one ISKCON guru, ISKCON initiating spiritual master. His name is Matsyavatar Prabhu from Italy. He has this whole preaching situation. He makes many devotees. He wrote some 70, 80 books. But it's not very famous in ISKCON because he focuses on mainly in Italy. So because he doesn't present his preaching as a religious thing, so he wears normal clothes, like a little Indian look, like Nehru jacket type of thing, but civil clothes. But that's to enter. He enters in universities, he enters in all this type of ambience where they may not be interested in hearing a religious man. They don't want to hear a monk, they want to hear a professor. But then, he doesn't have any problem when it's a question of doing Harinam. He's there with his dhoti, jumping like a new bhakta in the street. No, he doesn't have any problem whatsoever. And the people he attracts, then they also start, I was there a couple of initiations. These people and they become also with dhotis and saris, so they accept the culture. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was another example. He was a very good dresser, by the way, but he was using this dress, not because he was shy. That's the problem sometimes. You see, devotees are shy to show that they are devotees. They have to go out even to buy some milk, they camouflage, they cover everything like this verse. No, they are not going out if they're not sufficiently covered, It's like you're afraid. They travel, you see a devotee on a flight, almost because you know him, so you recognize him. Otherwise, he's unrecognizable. Anyway, back to Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. One disciple of his, she told me how the first time she saw him, she's a black African American. So Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj came to this African American society. All identify, we are from Africa, this, that. And he came with a dress as an African, like an African king, like very colorful, all this. And then she told me that was very interesting. And she told me, look, if you had come as a Hare Krishna, I probably would not have been attracted. This Hare Krishna, this is India, I'm not a tourist. But he entered like an African, but of course he gave then she became devotee now, so she's the devotee and everything. So it's a lot about motivation. Of course, there are some standards. It's a lot about motivation. Even, frankly speaking, we are talking about clothing. Even the dress, the white dress of ladies. I remember there was one lady in Vrindavan. She was a student of Bhurijan Prabhu. And Bhurijan Prabhu told her, look, you're wearing white. But she wasn't married. But you have this nephew, and you're always talking about this nephew. You're like a mother to this nephew, and you're always into this nephew, and this and that. So, it's like not appropriate to wear white. They're not in the mood of a renounced lady was kind of finished with her, say, material life or family engagement, so like that. And so it's not, what. Basically, say, look, what are you doing? Are you showing off or something? These are my words, like that. So, but this was a few years back. Recently, I saw this lady. She was still wearing white. I don't know if she actually became very detached or she killed her nephew just to wear white. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so I'm just saying, unfortunately, in ISKCON, we don't have really a standard. Like to take sannyas, you have to go through the whole waiting list and this and that. To wear white, as far as I know, there's not really. I know that in ISKCON law, there's no law when you can take white. And of course, many white ladies are bona fide. They're really either widows, their husband died, or took sannyas, which is socially the same, so they're authorized, bona fide. Others, I'm not sure. I'm not telling now you have to look at those who are wearing white with some suspicion. What's happening here? No. But I'm just saying, maybe a good idea to take a look and have a standard. Have a standard, how you dress white and who can dress white and so on and so forth. Anyway, so these are few considerations on this topic. Any question? Yes, do we have a mic? You want to ask, and so I repeat? Sure. How do you not laugh? Again, it's more like the attitude. If there is something really funny, laugh, it might be almost uncontrollable. Okay? But there is laugh and laugh. No? One is a laugh very loud, very external, very no, for 2 blocks everybody knows that you're laughing. And one is a laugh, like it's both laughing, it's the same mood, but it's differently manifested. It's the mood. See, you are in a great mood. When you're in a great mood, it's more difficult to laugh. But if you're in a very light mood, then anything can make you laugh. So it's more like the mood. You're not predisposed to laugh in public. But back on class, I guess it's okay. But again, there are ways of laughing. Does it helps? Does it help? Yes?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much. We are laughing. You were speaking about the Mataji's dress code.
That verse spoke about that.
I would like you to say something. What is your opinion, or what is your Shastra opinion about?
Shastra opinion.
About something that I think very disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
When Prabhus come to the temple without kurta. No, I'm serious. I think it's not respectful for the deities. I think he's not respectful for the ladies. I don't feel respected myself when I see a man near me without kurta and only with chadar. And another point is when they come with dhoti, like shorts, I think it's not
Dhoti
respectful.
like shorts.
Yes.
They rolled up to the knees.
Somehow. So I would like to, you are senior devotee, to me at least, and I would like to hear from you what you think about motivation.
Yeah. Anybody likes to pitch in some quote? Pankajangri Prabhu? Maybe, I'm sure the internet friends will also like to hear your answer. Suspense. It's I repeat for the internet, we have maybe 100 people. It's inauspicious to show knees, Pankajangri Prabhu says.
It is an offense for a man to pay his obeisances in front of the deity wearing a kurta. He should be bare-chested.
At the same time, it's an offense to pay obeisance with the kurtan. It should be bare-chested. I don't know if that clarifies the situation or creates more bewilderment, but that's what you get from Pankajangri. Anybody else like to say anything? Janivas Prabhu. Can we get this mic working, please? It was working this side. Give this. You wanted to give this? No, don't.
Hare Krishna. Haribol. I got the mic. In traditional temples in South India, like Ramanuja's bona fide sampradayas, they generally wrap their chadar around their waist. And the injunction is you should be bare-chested in front of the deity. It actually means servant. If a person has no shirt, he should, he's indication of a servant. So they enter the deity room, they tie their chadars around, and most of the time, even when they're outside the temple, you see them walking around with the, I don't know, there's a picture of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, old picture with a family group photo. And you see, and at one point, that man second left, he is a servant, and he has no chest on, no covering for it. So you can distinguish between the family members and the actual servants. You can distinguish between the family members and the actual servants. I was in Srila Prabhupada's room here in the Lotus Building, and Srila Prabhupada said that the devotees should pay their obeisances without any covering on their body, on the upper part. They should be uncovered. And Shruti Kirti Prabhu was there. No, then Prabhupada said, "It's so cold, so cold." And then Shruti Kirti Prabhu said, "But they have carpets on most temples, Srila Prabhupada in the West. They have carpets on the floor or some." And Prabhupada said, yeah, okay. He said, but anyway, in India, they can do. When they're paying obeisances, they can do bare-chested. Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry. I mean, I probably was not the answer you were expecting. That's what you get today. Maybe we'll do more research. Okay, so our time is up. We close here. If there are other questions, we can stay a little longer, but I need to officially close. So this is official closing of the lecture. If you want to ask more questions on clothing, dress codes and things, we'll stay a little longer. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, proper dress code ki. Yes, you wanted to say something?